And this is what I love about the way the Jedi talk about the Force. It's like they're really telling us something in it. Like they say, like, search your feelings, but don't buy into the feeling. You know, what's your feeling telling you? But don't take that as truth. Because if you start to take those feelings as truth, like the whole journey with Anakin is like, I sense much fear in him.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it's like that fear leads to anger, the anger leads to hate, the hate leads to the dark side, suffering leads to the dark side, or whatever they say. And it's like, you can see how that happens and how that manifests how it's manifested in my life before. It's like, I'm allowing a certain feeling to dictate me, where I'm at, what I'm doing, how I'm observing the world, how I'm approaching situations, rather than just seeing it as like, what's the feeling telling me? The feeling's telling me that there's something, you know, I don't know, out of balance, or something that maybe it's just my perception of something. It's not the objective reality. It's a subjective reality from me. And it's crazy, because I can't remember who I was talking to about this the other day, but I was like, all right, the storytelling in Star Wars isn't the best at times. However, look at what it's teaching us. Look at the lessons it's teaching us. We're all connected by the Force. You can sense things before they've happened. You know, you can, your feelings are just feelings, that's it. If you buy into them, it could lead you down a stray path, you know? You could end up being like Darth Vader. Eventually.
Well, here's my thing with that is, right, like, let's relate it to what we do, coaching. A lot of people start out like Anakin. They want to save the world. They want to, you know, they want to change the world, and they want to help people, right? But what often ends up happening is that instead of saving the world, you can't change the world if you're going to continue to be the way it is. So like, a lot of people start off like, you know, young, whimsical, like, oh yeah, I'm going to do this thing and I'm going to help people. And then fast forward a little bit, when the business side of it kicks in, they start falling into the marketing trap. Or they start falling into the trap of like, I've got to make money from this, so I'm not going to help people for free. I'll only help people if I'm being paid to do it. And it's kind of like what fucking Obi-Wan says to Anakin. He's like, you're supposed to bring balance to the Force, not fucking become the Sith.
You were the chosen one! It was said that you would destroy the Sith, not join them! Bring balance to the Force, not leave it in darkness!
What's wrong with you? And there's no, I'm not saying it to tell anyone off or to be rude or to judge anyone. It's an observation I've made in myself. You know, like, I've gone from I want to help people to I've got a business, I have to take care of these things, then I'll help people. It's like, you know, Anakin's trying to save Padme, at what cost? That's one of my favorite questions that Star Wars gives me, is like, at what cost do you want what you think you want? You know, like, yes, people are gonna die, but you know, because of how badly he wants that to not be true, he gets manipulated. And how often are we manipulated? Like, fucking advertising manipulates us all the time.
Yeah.
Oh, we know you want to look young. We know you want to look cool. We know you want to have this kind of body. Or, you know, we know that you want to have women like you. So we're going to manipulate the shit out of you. And it's fucked. Like, if you really consider, what am I buying into? The feeling that I'm buying into when I purchase items is, it's telling us a lot. I'm creating a when in my life. When I have this thing, I'll feel like this and it'll be better than it is now. When is one of the most dangerous things we can do to ourselves.
Yeah. And it's so true. And it's also like, look how the when is created. So like in with Anakin, for example, the Padme thing, he had a dream and he's like, I saw her die. And now he's like, that's the truth. That's definitely going to be happening. And then he creates, like, that's the when. That's now the when. When she dies, according to this thought that I had, this dream that I had, then it's going to be bad. So I'm going to do everything I can to try and avoid that. And it basically messes him up because he buys into this story that he's created for himself. And it's like the same thing happens in advertising that you said. The when is like, okay, when I look like that, then I will feel happy, then I will be better, then my life will be, you know, I don't know, more rosy or whatever. and people like do all this stuff and like just like, again, I've done it as well, man. It's like just messed up stuff, like my way of being, because I'm chasing a when, like I'm chasing a reference point in time which doesn't even exist.
That's the thing.
And then I
man.
make it exist. I make it become a reality.
When we're making a point in reality that isn't even like, it doesn't exist right now, but we're using it as like a reference point to dictate how we should behave right now. And it's really funny, like in Star Wars, Anakin's got a when, Obi-Wan's got a when, Count Dooku's got a when, Palpatine's got a when, and they're all different. Everyone's trying to get to their own when. When Darth Vader has a change of heart, it's not because, like, I don't know, it's hard to explain. He's got to the when, he's got to the point in time where he's like, oh, what have I done, blah, blah. But like he's at the point where he can access the feelings of, I know that this is wrong, or like I'm in the feeling of what's right, and it's not like he doesn't have to put it into another when. Oh, like once I've killed Palpatine, then I'll help you. It's like, oh, actually, do you know what? Like I can be there right now with you, and this is funny because like you see changes of heart very often, but I haven't given myself to have changes of heart out of ego. Oh, I've been doing this for so long, I don't want to now do this. And with Star Wars, what I love about Anakin and Darth Vader's little like switcheroo, it's all like, it's pretty much instant. He's gone from like, I'm gonna kill you, to like, oh fuck, what have I done?
Yeah.
And I like that. There's very little ego in it.
But here's the thing. I love that because that's episode 6, isn't it? I love that because like the way Luke speaks to Anakin, Vader, whatever you want to call him, like he speaks to the highest version of him, innit? He's not like speaking to him as Darth Vader. He's speaking to the pureness in him. He's like, oh Father, like I know there's still good in you. Like he's like being dragged to Palpatine. He's like, you don't have to do this. I know there's still good in you. Like you don't have to live your life this way. Maybe he doesn't say those exact words, but that's what he's saying to him. And Vader's like, nah, shut up. Like, what are you talking about? And then when it gets to that scene where Vader, Palpatine's like beating up Luke, whatever, and Vader helps him, saves him essentially. It's like, it's Luke's pureness in speaking to the pureness in Vader is what reawakens it for him. And then he's like, oh yeah, like maybe I don't have to live my life like this. There was a time where I was that kid in episode 1, episode 2, that we then see in the prequels where he did have that innocence and he had that pureness about him. And he's like reconnected to that. And then it's like, I think, I can't remember the exact part of the movie. I think it's right at the end where the ship's like going down and blowing up, whatever. And Luke's like, come on, let me get you on the ship to save you. And he says, take off the mask. I want to see you with my own eyes. And he goes, you don't need to save me. You've already saved me.
Go, my son. Leave me.
No, you're coming with me. I'll not leave you here. I've got to save you.
You already have. Luke.
And it's like, you've woken me back up to who I am and not like the whenness, you know? I'm not Darth Vader anymore because I'm not buying into like, okay, I need to have all this power and this is gonna complete me, means something about me. It's just like, he's reminded him of the pureness that's inside of him. And then from that, he's like, yeah, like it's always been there. I don't need anything else. Like I'm pure. You've saved me. And there's such, like, that is amazing, man. Like the way that they tell that story in those, like, I think it's the last episode 5 and 6. Oh man, it's sick. I actually brought a tear to my eye when I was watching it a couple months ago. I was like, whoa, that's powerful, man. Because it's the same thing. Like, if I could speak to myself in that way, speaking to the pureness in me back when I was chasing the whens, imagine the impact that could have had on me then. I mean, it has over time, but it's the same for like, you know, what we do. It's like when we speak to people, when we're, you know, working with clients, speaking to potential clients, like I want to speak to the highest version of someone Because if I can wake them up to that purest version of them, the highest version of them, whatever you want to call it, how powerful could that be? It doesn't have anything to do with whether they pay me for coaching or whether they come and work with me or whether they come and, you know, do something that I'm doing. Like, it's not about that. Imagine the impact it can have on them and the people in their life and their life. Like, that's the real, like, beauty in it. And that's available to anyone. Imagine everyone spoke to the highest version, the purest version of everyone that they came across in life. How different would the world be?
It requires us looking for it.
Yeah.